Hello, Editor Sean here. Throughout the video we use a filter that looks like this. If this bothers you, then you might want to look away for motion sickness reasons or something. Also, if you could subscribe too, that would be awesome, because we want 4,000 subscribers before Brandon's birthday, which is at an undisclosed date, so at any point in time you should always subscribe. Anyways, enjoy. There once was a K-pop pretty boy. Stop me if you've heard this one before. He was consumed by shame and held sole blame, but by the world he was adored. He and a hunter sang a song. His soul began to return. All the evil he'd done, transformed by the one he had trusted, so they say. And did he deserve the end he got? My little sodapop, dying with a redeeming vow. Or should his soul go down? Well, that was shit. Kpop Demon Hunters was a movie that I was honestly gonna skip. I was gonna just watch it from a distance, see what other people thought about it. Then I accidentally walked into the living room when all my friends were watching it, and I realized that I could not stay away from it. In fact, that's the whole reason I have it playing right here, right now. I cannot stop rewatching this movie. Every time I watch it, it just gets better and better and better, but it doesn't compare to the first time I watched it, because at that time, I didn't watch it from the beginning. I watched it from this exact point. And there are a few things that made me completely change my perspective of this movie. 1. I didn't know about the whole demon and demon hunter dynamic. 2. I thought the sajaboys were just some K-pop boy band that just happened to be demons and were actually good demons. And 3. I realized that because I had missed that starting part, I was watching this movie from Jinu's perspective. And because of that, I didn't find out that Rumi was part demon until this point.
A hunter who's part demon?
So because I was watching this from Jinu's point of view, everyone else in the room was thinking, oh no, Rumi's secret's gonna be revealed. Whereas I was thinking, oh, so demons can be good. Anyone can just be a demon. As for Jinu, this is the moment where his understanding of what it means to be a demon completely changed. Rumi being part demon was his chance to find a way to escape his patterns, the same way that Rumi was looking for an escape from hers.
I'll never forget the first time I heard him. That was 400 years ago.
So let's go back a bit. Jinu lived 400 years ago on the streets with a starving mother and sister, and the only possession he had to his name was an old beepop. He would bust the streets and sing, but didn't get anywhere with it until, of course, he made a deal with Gimma in order to get a voice that would be praised and allowed him to stay in the palace and have a full belly and sleep on silk sheets along with his family. Right? He lived happily until those patterns consumed him and he was dragged down to the underworld, demon realm, whatever that is, and had to live in eternal suffering with Gimma's voice inside of his head forever. Jinu's understanding of being a demon is that of a punishment, that he must feel shame. All he can do is feel the weight of what he has done for all eternity. Dishonor on him, dishonor on his cow, dishonor on that weird tiger and bird thing that he's got. Actually, you know what? No, I can't even joke about that. As far as comic relief animal duos go, these two are peak. They are a glimpse into what still makes Jinu human. He wants to create with the gifts he has. And the little hat that the bird wears is proof of that. He made the hat for the tiger, but the bird keeps taking it. It's so adorable. And another remnant of Jinu's humanity also is the fact that his master plan to take down the K-pop demon hunters huntrix is to form his own boy band and make his own music and use that to fight back. I can see why I was gonna skip this movie, but now I'm in love with it so much. Anyway, so where was I? Oh yes, in this moment, Jinu's perception of what it means to be a demon is completely shattered. A demon that is free from Gimma? That's a possibility? I need this girl. I need her trust. Let me just cover up her secret that her friends don't know about, and let me dish out a fake backstory so that no one is any the wiser about what a horrible person that I am. Because, you know, after 400 years, Gimma even says you've done nothing that doesn't serve yourself. And that's still true in these moments, you know, where he's pretending to open up. He leaves out the fact that he abandoned his family. At the end of Jinu's second, slightly less violent meeting with Rumi, he has the balls to call her out on being in denial, and he tells her to stop pretending when he's the one putting forward this holier-than-thou image of, oh, I am a victim of Gimma, please help me, help me. Jinu, you sly dog. I mean, of course, Gimma calls him out on this. Then there comes the joint signing, where Jinu once again explains that he is just a poor victim of Gimma, only helping himself so that he can, now listen to this, forget all the bad things that he's done by just having the memories erased. You know, it's not like you're trying to do that artificially with how you're presenting yourself to Rumi, you know, the person that you're supposed to trust and open up to. But despite these shortcomings of Jinu, because he's just a scared little boy, 400 years older than he should be, both Rumi and Jinu start to change because of each other. Rumi begins to see demons as these prisoners of Gimma, and Jinu feels even more shame. But then there's this slight moment where Jinu begins to realize that perhaps even as a demon, he still has a soul, and he still has a choice, and he can still do good even though he's done a lot of bad. Then we finally see Rumi reach out to Jinu. This is after Rumi realizes that their new song is filled with hate, and Jinu had mentioned before that you can't beat Gimma with hate because he would have done it a long time ago if you could. They meet to talk, and outside of the whole Jin-Rumi shipping thing, it's actually a really nice conversation between two people about their shared shame that they have. Rumi about her patterns, and Jinu about his... Nope. She still believes him to be a good person, and that all he did was make a mistake, and Jinu is intent on just keeping this lying train a-rolling. Despite Jinu still holding back and keeping that wall up, Rumi still extends a hand with a hope bracelet. This is a secret Mouska tool we're going to use for later. And although Jinu views himself as an absolute demon and monster, he still goes ahead and reaches out. They're meeting each other halfway? Well, Jinu can't decide whether he bears the shame forced upon him by Gimma. He can choose whether or not he feels hope. In their final meeting before the Idol Awards, it seems that this facade that Jinu has put forward has actually broken through to Rumi. That this good person that he's pretending to be, even though these words, these actions, they're all just a means to an end for him, Rumi takes them as truth. And she tells of how she'd stopped feeling like she needs to repress her patterns or hide them, at least from just Jinu. Her meeting Jinu has helped her deal with her shame, whereas Jinu truly has just been using Rumi in order for him to further run away from his own actions. You can try to cover up and run away from this shame, but sooner or later it's going to catch up to you and consume you, like those patterns have done before. The first step of overcoming this shame for them is by letting someone in, by sharing their pain with each other, by finding someone who can relate. Man, this is a lot of feelings for a movie that's also a musical. And if musicals have taught me anything, if feelings are too much to talk about, then you gotta sing about them. At first, I wrote this song off as just some ooey gooey love song, but actually listening to the lyrics, it's a conversation between these two. One ashamed of where they've come from, and one ashamed of what they are. And they're both just trying to find a way to escape those chains. Rather than running away from their problems, rather than trying to fix what's broken, they need to find a way to accept themselves as they are. However, after this song, still, neither of them are ready to accept themselves. They're still trying to fix or hide what they hate about themselves. They're still trying to run away from whatever they've done. Rumi's plans to destroy her patterns are still going ahead, and Jinu still holds up this lovely picture of himself to Rumi, that he's just a victim of a mistake that he made. But even now, as Jinu can no longer hear Gimma's voices, and Rumi has in turn found her voice, these are still only temporary fixes. As Jinu is dragged back down into the demon realm, he is given a grim reminder that there is no way that he can escape from his past, and that if he really trusted Rumi, then he would tell her the truth. Gimma, literal anxiety himself, reminds Jinu that he is still playing pretend. And the fact of the matter is, he's trying to put himself forward as this person that didn't abandon his family, that tried to do it to help his family, not in spite of his family. Gimma is not allowing Jinu to start fresh so easily, just because Rumi doesn't know what he did. Jinu is consumed by his shame once again, and he returns to wanting nothing more than to just remove those memories and to escape from those voices.
I left them! That's right. I lied to you. I only made a deal with Gimma to get myself out of that miserable life.
Now comes the Idol Awards, which one thing I need to mention real quick before we begin is what was that? So, anyways, now comes the Idol Awards, where it is revealed that the sajaboys are fighting. Regardless of what the fighting was, Huntrix breaks up on stage, and then actual Huntrix go on to break up backstage, which happens because Rumi's patterns has been revealed. However, when Mira and Zoey are talking to her, they don't make such a big deal about the patterns, but more so that she lied to them, hid from them, was working with Jinu behind their backs, to the point where they don't know what's a truth and what's a lie from her anymore, and the trust is broken. Where does Rumi go when she has no one else to turn to? But back to Jinu, covered entirely by his patterns, covered entirely by that shame that he bears from not only what he's done in the past to his family, but now what he's done to Rumi. He puts on this act in the complete other direction and puts forward this image of a monster, of someone who basically went and killed his family, of trying to be this unforgivable demon that he sees himself as, so that, you know, now that he's betrayed her, he's making it real easy for her to let him go. He says that everything he did was just to gain her trust, and now he is burning that friendship. He's cutting her ties to make it easier for her to hate him, because right now he sees himself as nothing but a monster. But Rumi still clings on to the hope that he's still a good person, that it's just his demon talking. Rumi says something very interesting after Jinu reveals that he had left his family, that he had finally come forward and put that part of himself forward. She says that that's not all you are. Rumi isn't disregarding the fact that he's done something terrible. She's just saying that there's more to him than just the sum of what good and bad he's done in his life. His parting words from Rumi is that they are demons. They don't get a happy ending, they don't get to escape their shame, they don't get to fight back. All they have is suffering and misery for eternity, because that's what they deserve. The next time we see Jinu, he's kitted out in his hat and robe and his, whole town of Salem fit, and it is just not it. I mean, like, come on, just bring back the jackets and hoodies, man. I know it's hot, but he has let his demons completely take control. And as Gimma goes to remove his memories, he realizes not only is he losing the bad memories of him abandoning his family, but the good memories he had with Rumi. Yet still, he lets them go. Remember how I mentioned that the tiger was what remains of Jinu's humanity? Well, this blink and you'll miss it moment is the tiger holding on to that final bit of hope for Jinu. Oh, now comes the most toxic boyfriend energy song I have ever heard in my life. This song spits on the entire relationship that Jinu and Rumi had built together. It talks of how he's the only one that would love her because of her flaws that she saw in herself, and now that she had given him her heart, he was coming for her soul. Not to mention the amount of times the song says, "I'm all you need." It just oozes toxic, manipulative boyfriend energy, and I hate it now that I'm properly listening to it. Not only that, but the song applies to the whole crowd as well, who had been manipulated by this demon boy band. After all these lies, manipulating, hiding these flaws, there is only one song that can break this cycle of self-hatred. And the opening line is oh so perfect and fits brilliantly with everything I've discussed in this video so far.
Nothing but the truth now.
One thing I have to absolutely commend K-pop Demon Hunters for is the way it captures that feeling of when a song speaks to you. We've seen moments before in other songs when Rumi hits those heavenly high notes, but now in this song we truly see the crowd united together over what is just another human's voice, and it is beautiful to see and is so gorgeously animated as well. And that's when the chorus hits. And as the sajaboys rush forward, Jinu hangs back behind. While Zoey and Mira fight the sajaboys, we see that Rumi is still continuing forward towards Jinu, and while her voice is reaching the whole audience, she is singing these words to Jinu. He broke into a million pieces and he can't go back. But it is that horrible choice he made that he gets to choose to be better from, rather than let that define him. Rumi sees that beauty in him, because being your true self is the most beautiful thing you can be. Does Jinu deserve to be forgiven? Does Jinu deserve to be a demon with all of his memories erased? Well, Rumi forgives him. And Jinu, in that, finds a way to let go. Not let go of the memories of what he's done, but let go of his shame. He is free. Free to choose, and gains control over his soul. And he decides to give that soul to Rumi. Jinu spent the whole movie lying, trying to erase his past from others' minds and from his own. He couldn't run from it, he couldn't fix it, he couldn't fight it. The person he looked to for help, he still couldn't fully let her in, and the moment he did let her in, he immediately expressed himself to her how he saw himself. Still not how he truly is. Gimma, the representation of anxiety and self-hating intrusive thoughts seen throughout the movie, never let him forget what he did. All he needed to focus on was what he could still do, what good he could do, which led him ultimately to saving Rumi and setting himself free from his demon self. Because, 400 years, a demon, he wasn't going to just go living a normal life after Gimma was defeated. So he freed himself from his demon body, giving Rumi the power to defeat Gimma, thus redeeming himself. Right? He's redeemed. Well, is it really that simple? Can doing good fix doing bad? Well, if you've been paying attention to this whole video and the movie, That's not the point! In his final moments, Jinu knew he couldn't erase what he did to his family, but he could undo what he did to Rumi by saving her from Gimma, apologizing to her, and giving her the power to build a new Hanmun. Men will really do anything except go to therapy, huh? As our movie comes to a close, we see those remnants of Jinu's humanity, the bird and the tiger, watching over the three girls and their fans. Proof that Jinu, even if he wasn't, he always could be a good man. As you can tell, this is a lot to unpack from a 90-minute film, which is why I needed this to at least be like 3 hours, or to have like 1 Williams sequels made right now. The theme of shame and anxiety, what it can do to a person, and the ways in which we can deal with it healthily and not so is explored incredibly well. Alongside Jinu's story is obviously the story of Rumi and her shame of being part demon, with patterns she must hide, and all the while she's trying to destroy them. And I'm so glad that her resolution isn't to just still destroy those patterns, but instead she resolves to make those patterns her own. She defines what it means for her to be part demon. Pride in your flaws. What a beautiful story to see in this movie, despite its relatively short runtime. Like, it feels there are some beats missing to really let those emotions really sink in. But for what we got, it was beautiful. And it allows me to just go back in and watch it over and over and over again. And when I find these little nuggets of detail and I look at it from all these different perspectives, it's what makes the movie so fun to watch and enjoy over and over again. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go watch it again.